Hello to everyone. In France, the extreme left, with less vote than the right party, won the election, and they won the elections in a big way. So they are demanding to implement their economical policy, their economical ideas. But will they be able to implement those ideas, or it will remain one dream, at least for the moment? In this video, we will analyze what are their ideas and the real possibility that those ideas will be or won't be implemented. Before going on with the video, remember that I have my book on the European Union on sale. You will find in the description of this video the link in order to purchase it. At the same time, remember that I have also the other book about inflation, so you will have the opportunity to purchase both of them. Please subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends. So, what are the Mélenchon, the leader of the extreme left in France, and the winning coalition, what are his economical idea? Well, his ideas are very easy to be understood. To increase dramatically the public expenditure and to finance it through an abrupt increase on taxes. So, one of his goals is to bring taxes for the last bracket, for the richest one in France, up to 90%. So, and it would consider this bracket starting from 400,000 euro income. So, the people that would earn or will earn more than $400,000 from that amount, they would have to pay 90% on taxes. What does it mean? Well, in practical terms, if the bracket remains this is we will have to confirm first if they are able to implement this taxation. Second, to see if if they change the bracket. But let's say if the bracket would be $400,000, it means that, for example, in the first 400, due to the French taxation, probably people that earns that amount of money, they are already paying around 50%, which means that they have 200,000 free in their pocket. So if somebody earns, for example, 1.5 million euro per year, it means that in the total amount of available money would be around 350,000. So if somebody makes 1.5 mils a year, at the end, free after all the taxation in his pocket will remain more or less around 25%, 350,000. If it is or it will be implemented in this way, the Mélenchon idea. The objective of Mélenchon is to redistribute the wealth in France in order to have less poor and less rich. And at the same time, you have to consider that France has already a public debt that is skyrocketing. Since the year 2000, it practically, the amount of French debt doubled on the GDP. It jumped from 60% up to, let's say, probably more than 110%. It will be close shortly at 120% of the GDP. So they have been able, the economic measure implemented by the brilliant French governments, to double the debt. Imagine that. So you have a very high level of debt, and at the same time, France has an imbalance of the public account. France has a deficit that is around 5%, which means France has an high deficit, an high debt, and the pressure of the European Union that, due to the European agreements, the amount of deficit should be not more than 3%. France overpassed already quite a bit this amount. So if the leftists in France are not able to implement the skyrocketing increase in taxes, to augment the amount of debt at the same time will be very difficult. But there is also some other thoughts about the possibility to increase so much taxation. For example, the United States in the past, in the 50s, experienced taxations around this level. And also France experienced this taxation, for example, during the François Hollande presidency. And in both cases, if you have taxes that are so high, what the country achieve is not an increase of the money received for the taxpayers. Quite at the opposite, the money received decrease. Why? Because people will be less likely to invest and risk their money in order to be obliged to pay that amount of taxes. At the same time, when we talk about Europe, you have to consider that there are many fiscal paradises within the European Union. So it's very easy to change the country where people pay taxes. For example, Monaco, Luxembourg, maybe Holland. There are many places within the European Union that have much better or much friendly taxation system. Even the ex-Eastern country, the ex-Soviet Union countries, they have very low tax brackets. So if in France they increase that much taxation, all the super rich will migrate to some other country, as already happened during, for example, the François Hollande presidency. So in both cases, it will be very difficult to implement such an increase on taxation level. In both cases. But we will see also what President Macron will decide about the government, and it seems that with the decision that he's taking, he's trying to arginate the request of the extreme left represented by Mélenchon. So probably France wouldn't experience such an increase of taxes, and the economical situation probably could remain similar unless the government will be ruled and run by the leftist party. And there is also a very important concept to understand. When the taxation level became clearly confiscatory means that the government confiscates most of the wealth produced by its citizens. When it is clearly confiscatory, it happened what we know as a phenomenon that is a sort of regression of taxes. What does it mean? It means that the amount of money that the government is able to collect is less than before increasing the taxes. That's a very interesting phenomenon, because if you look at the number on paper, it seems that there will be more taxes, but in reality, the amount of money collected by the government is much less. So it's a sort of a regression. There is an expectation of earn more, but in fact, it receives less. And it has been proved, as I said at the beginning, already during the François Hollande presidency. It has been proved, for example, in the United States when the tax brackets were so high during the 50s, and it has been proved also recently in Italy with an abrupt increase of taxation on gasoline, and after that taxation, immediately the government started to collect less money. So it is clear that it is not a wise decision. At the opposite, for a country, is a wise decision to reduce taxes, because it helps the economy, and at the end, it gets more money from the taxpayers than increases taxes. The idea applicable actually will be exactly the opposite. So if you like the video, please subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends.